826, you're live on the air. What's your name, comment, and/or question?
Hey, Ben, Noah, Nick. This is Patrick Blanc.
Patrick, my dude, what's going on, man?
Florida.
How's it going, dude?
Just a real quick point to make, and not to go back to what you were saying earlier, but I didn't see Bernie in this debate make the point about asking a question, what is she comparing what she's willing to invest in military exploits versus what she's willing to invest in our economy. When you talk about even the vote for the war in Iraq, or even go to more modern times about the no-fly zone in Syria, I'm still waiting for someone to ask her, how much would that cost? Because apparently, there's no end in sight for this Syrian conflict. Suppose it's a multi-year conflict. How long will it cost to sustain a no-fly zone for 6 months, a year and a half? Her intervention in Libya.
Exactly. That's a good point.
Did you ever ask, did you or the president ever think, how much would it cost us? But yet they want Bernie to account for every last dime of every policy proposal. And I think there's a huge double standard. I don't think it's because it's Hillary Clinton.
Yep.
I just think our media in general accepts.
And I'm going to be honest with you, Patrick.
We can spend trillions, and that doesn't warrant a question of a person asking to get universal health care to account for every last dime. And I was hoping and waiting for him to bring that contract, and it didn't happen. Now, listen to you off air, and thanks for taking my call.
Thanks so much for your patience, man. I'm going to be honest with you. The fact is, that's the type of pivoting, that's the type of positioning that you have to have going up against anybody in a debate. You have to be ready for these things, man. You got to be twice as good. Bernie Sanders, I'm sorry, you're going up against the most popular, and by popular I mean name recognition, politician running for office in definitely in our lifetime, probably in 2 lifetimes. Like, I don't know anyone who's coming into a race with this much name recognition. You have to be 3 times better than her. And what better way to shut up the conversation about how we're going to spend, how we're going to afford free college tuition or tuition-free college than by mentioning the fact that we always have money for all of our militaristic exploits. We always have money for wars off the books, that if we took a fraction of that, if we took a fraction of what we spent in Iraq, we could cover these costs. And Hillary Clinton, being the hawkish person on stage, she is clearly far more hawkish than Bernie Sanders. She is going to engage in some type of militaristic exploits. And did you guys notice that she's still standing by her decision that she believes we should have a no-fly zone in Syria? Did you guys notice that?
Well, it seemed like she was trying to throw Obama under the bus a little bit.
Yeah.
By saying, well, I suggested this, he didn't listen to me, and had we done this, this wouldn't have happened.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. That's exactly what she said, and she conveniently threw him under the bus, real quick and sly on the side. But nobody, they don't notice that because she's Barack Obama's homegirl. What'd you
I completely agree right there. What I was gonna say is, what's really weird to me is that boots on the ground. To have a no-fly zone, there has to be people on the ground, like manning all that equipment, and actually, manning the equipment that actually does that. And we've got her on record last November saying that she actually supported ground troops in Syria before it became untenable. So we already know that she's, highly invested in military intervention. That's not even for debate. But what I wanted to also talk about is back to the last issue we just said. I think all too often they get glamored by the Clintons, and they trade real policy that would advance because A, they don't necessarily want it, they don't believe we can get it, or because they've just been tricked by the black faces in high places and think that that's what politics is. And it goes back to what Vet Carnell says. That's a childlike understanding that believe that just because somebody who looks like you is up there, that they're necessarily doing stuff for you, and those two things are completely different.
Clarence Thomas is a clear example of that.
Yeah, and you know what? If you bring that up, people have something to say about it.
To be unnecessarily fair to them, I'm going to extend this olive branch to their situation, right? I think they are voting for their best economic interests. I think they are voting for what they believe to be best for the African American community from their perspective. From their perspective, they have a very respectability politics. They will never admit it because we're in a different age of politics right now, but they have a respectability politics view of African Americans as well, because you see some of these same people justifying the crime bill of '94 based on the fact that, our neighborhoods were so bad back then and black people were all in favor for this. That's its own.
That's just the media spin, though.
No. This is black leaders saying this foolishness. These are black
Well, yeah,
faces.
you got to shape the narrative, right? Like you have to shape some sort of narrative that people will believe, and it comes down to them saying that our communities were under
Problem though.
attack.
Here's the problem. They really believe this. And so for them, it's not about making more ways for people in poverty to move up to the middle class, because they don't feel like it's a structural problem. For them, they think it's a personal a meritocratic problem. They haven't done what they needed to do to move out of poverty into the middle class. These are the same people who look down on people in the hood. They're worried about Bernie Sanders calling it the ghetto. You got some of these same people who will drive through the ghetto and lock their doors just like any white person in America. So all these black people, I'm saying a lot of them who support Hillary Clinton, they support her not just because of name recognition, not just because of access to power. They support her because they really buy into this neoliberal economics. They buy into the meritocracy game. They buy into this entire trope of all you got to do is go to college. If you just do good and go to college, everything's going to work out for you, not realizing that people born in poverty, that road just really don't work out too well for people who go home from school and don't have lights, don't have access to clean clothes. Anyway, before I even go down that road, but that's what I'm saying. So simply put, some of them really believe in what Hillary Clinton is saying, and to them, she is the best for them because they have bought into this neoliberal economic paradigm and this meritocratic pipe dream.